True to form, President Joe Biden is carrying on the tradition of using executive orders to issue political decrees. We'll cover some of these, the impact they have on you, and suggest ways you can help in this episode of Analysis Behind the News, where we provide the perspective that you can use to restore American liberty and independence. The very first White House briefing under the Biden administration was streamed live on Inauguration Day. Press Secretary Jen Psaki gave a rundown of the executive orders Biden had signed on his first day. These include a 100-day masking challenge and a mandate forcing masks on anyone visiting any federal property. The next day, he mandated masks on public transportation, including in airports, planes, ships, intercity buses, and trains. On his first day, he also restored U.S. membership in the World Health Organization, and he forced federal agencies to place a moratorium on evictions and foreclosures with other orders. Biden also signed an order directing the Department of Education to extend the pause on student loan payments. He also rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement and placed a moratorium on oil and natural gas extraction in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, and he stopped all construction on the Keystone XL pipeline. Another order explores rooting out systemic racism and inequality from federal institutions. But his first day wasn't over yet. DACA, the Dreamer program, was reinstituted and the improperly named Muslim ban was stopped, as was all construction on the southern border wall. In conjunction, Biden set to Congress immigration legislation he would like to see passed that includes amnesty to illegal aliens. The New American reported on Monday that in addition to the legislation he wants passed, Biden also stopped all deportations and ordered the release of some 14,000 detained illegals. These executive orders are just a taste of what we can expect from the Biden administration and a democratically controlled Congress. Of course, none of these are a surprise, as voters were warned for months that this would happen under a Biden administration. Unfortunately, many of these orders and subsequent legislation from Congress will once again set America back onto a globalist path of dependence on foreign products and dependence on natural resources. Plus, with any upcoming globalist trade pacts, we will once again see the decimation of American manufacturing, something that many in both the Republican and Democratic parties have gotten behind. Increased engagement with international organizations will also bring challenges to American independence and an end run around our Constitution. Radical environmentalism will attack American manufacturing, which will result in additional regulations for companies and increased prices and taxes on citizens. Those that have experienced a surge in prosperity and freedom during the last administration will be disappointed at what awaits them. The power of government will be used to add credibility and legitimacy to a fake climate crisis and the imaginary systemic racism issue. Big government will also attempt to flood the country with illegal aliens, greatly adding to the democratic voter rolls for generations, and undoubtedly will only further the attacks on the traditional family, biblically based morality, and your God-given rights and freedoms. Citizens should certainly be concerned, but they should never give up and never lose hope. Let's not forget that what happens in politics can be temporary. The founders gave us frequent elections to ensure a change in policy if the voters don't like what is happening. What is done can be undone. However, we should obviously not gloss over the hurdles that we face regarding election integrity. State legislatures are currently taking up these matters. JBS members are already hard at work educating constituents to pressure legislators to take specific actions to safeguard our elections. We've already heard of success in at least one state in which JBS members are working on getting the governor's emergency powers repealed and then are taking steps to make elections credible again. Our Restore Election Integrity project allows you to get involved on the local and state level. 14 states have already introduced some form of legislation, many of these with multiple pieces of legislation. So please use our legislative alerts to contact your state legislators and generate pressure on them to introduce legislation to restore election integrity or to sponsor and support similar legislation already introduced. Look for the state legislative action alerts on jbs.org by hovering over Act Now. JBS members know the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. Informing other concerned Americans and getting them to act is key if we are to move forward on our mission of restoring not only election integrity, but also founding American principles. Now is not the time to get discouraged. It's time to get more involved. The battle to preserve American independence and freedom has never ended. Those involved in the John Birch Society understand this well. Since 1958, the organization has worked to create educated electorates by focusing on the movers and shakers of the community, including those in business, the church, and elected officials. When you join the John Birch Society, you gain access to the power of organization. It's the type of boots-on-the-ground organization that no social media giant can stomp out or cancel. Big government globalists from both political parties have tried canceling the John Birch Society time after time after time since at least 1961. But here we are, actively working our plan for less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. If you're frustrated with politics, join an organization that can weather the storm and create national results by working locally. Apply for membership in the John Birch Society today. Links are in the video description. Who do you know that cares about freedom and independence? Because it's time to act. The very survival of our republic depends on it. I'm Bill Hahn for the John Birch Society, and until next time, stay informed, stay active, and stay safe, Patriots.